Welcome back to Face in the Crowd. We are chatting to owner of NTC, Mr. Muzi Mkhize. And Muzi, upon looking back at your childhood, I mean, what was life like for you growing up?
It was fun. It was fun, challenging as well, because I mean, being raised by a single parent made things quite difficult, and seeing all the challenges that she went through, my mother, that is, just to try to raise 3 boys plus, you know, a girl, that I think that was quite challenging on its own. But it was enlightening. I think it allowed me to have a backbone, you know, and it allowed me to dream even bigger, because I started seeing the challenges that she faced, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to change that for her, for my siblings, and that just allowed me, made that drive become more stronger. And, you know, with all the challenges that we faced coming up, I look at it and I still see it as a blessing, because if I had comfort, I don't think I would have pushed myself to where I am right now, if it was not because of what she went through.
And then they say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, I mean, you're a living testament to that. Now, you're in the space of ICT. The world is undergoing this transition of digitization. But I mean, looking back as a kid, what did you want to become? What was your dream growing up?
I really was always in tune with technology. In 1997, my mom, in actual fact, she was working for a company for about 17 years. And as her gift, they actually gave her a desktop PC. This was in 1997, and they gave her this desktop PC. She brought it home. And she was like, you know what, here you go. Whatever you want to do with it, it's yours.
Yes.
And since then, it's been that, you know, just breaking it apart, seeing how it works, changing operating systems, you know, just working it. And then, since I've always known that this is the path I'm going to take, though I was convinced, like, go the law route, you know, like, you talk a lot, you know, go the law route, and you know, you could convince people otherwise. And then, but I really stuck to it. And even getting to high school, going through the career guidance, I still knew that this is the space that I'm going to be playing in. And I mean, I look back and I'm like, it was the greatest decision I ever made.
Well, I mean, now you use it for sales and pitches, so why not, right?
Why not?
Who would you say have been some of your biggest influences to date? I mean, you mentioned your mom, who struggled and obviously raised you as a single parent, but who were the other key players whilst growing up?
I'd say my grandmother. My grandmother has always been the pillar of the family. She's the person that, in actual fact, to date, that if I have any concerns or any issues, I actually consult her. Regardless, business or personal, that's my go-to person. And then I've really always looked up to, I'll say Sean Carter. I'd rather use a proper name, his birth name. I've always looked up to Sean Carter, known as Jay-Z to a lot of people, because through the challenges that he faced, and us growing up listening to that specific sound, you always found comfort in their music. You found hope in the music, and with that, I mean, I always look back and say probably that's the reason my mom named me Muzi, because it's closest to music, because music is really my comfort. Anything that goes from that, I really use that as therapy. And it takes me through whatever it is that I'm going through. So I've really looked at him as a prime example of coming from the projects and really making it out and being quite a business savvy person in his life right now. So he's quite that huge example.
Well, I mean, we see the effects of your grandmother. The company is named after her, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct.
Well, how did that name come about?
Yeah, I mean, the name is funny because she really just, we had 5 names that we had to choose from, and she was in the room when we were talking about it, and she was like, hey, you can use my name. So I had to take her name and surname and try to make something out of it. And then that's how Nobani Tunzi Communications came to play. But the beauty of that is that it's really starting to form part of a legacy, because now the name remains relevant. You know, from here on, it's going to be there. It's going to be that living testament. And she is the last that's remaining, you know, of our ancestral side. So we're quite excited that we got the name correct.
So life is all about balance.
Yes.
All work and no play. We know what happened to Johnny. How do you relax?
My family. My son is really everything. My wife is a key factor. Relaxation is really building Legos with him. right now we're busy with I think it's a 500-piece puzzle that we're trying to put together.
Yeah.
So that's really what I use as a form of relaxation, and in between that there's always music playing in the background. So we continuously dancing, we continuously having fun, but in between that it's a lot of building. You know, he's quite an avid Lego person, even though he's 5 years old, but yeah, he continuously wants to build all these Lego pieces, and that's what we do. And a lot of going out. We really try to add that leisure, you know, go out, explore different places, just to open the mind as well to what's available out there. So that's my form of relaxation. Not much of a club person, but hey, it works.
Well, we all have our you know, ways of relaxing.
Correct.
So you've definitely found yours, right?
Yes, I have.
We managed to catch up with a few people in your circle of love, and then this is what they had to say about you, Muzi.
Hi, I'm Muzi Mkhize, the brother to Muzi. Muzi is a dedicated guy. He's very focused. All his life he's been just that guy that knew what he wants to do and what he wants to achieve in life. So yeah, if bit of a geek, techno geek. He's always been into technology ever since I knew him. So yeah, he's a great brother, I guess. We had a very dope childhood thanks to my mom. We just played sports all the time, video games. We played video games since like Sega days. So yeah, like I said, he was a geek, so he always came through with the gadgets and everything. But we had a very dope childhood. Two brothers and one sister, my older sister. So my brothers just always had each other's company, so we were never bored. So it was this really nice childhood growing up. Yeah. My fondest memory has to be on holidays when our cousins would come through to our house and we just like have the craziest time. There'd be like 10 kids, 10 to 15 kids just playing and just like really having a dope summer. Summer holidays would be my fondest memory. Yeah. As a person, he's very inspirational. He's been very inspirational to me and my family. It's been more of a holding us up type of thing. So whenever you're down, he'll always be the person that's like, yo, take an alternative route, do this. You know, just always like telling you not to give up, kind of like giving you direction. So as an older brother, he's always giving me that like push to say, you can do it this way. If this way doesn't work, focus on this way. He's got a very weird sense of humor. Yeah, so it comes out a lot of the time when he's not working. My wish for him and his endeavors would be just to take over the world and reach his pinnacle and just reach where he wants to be in terms of success and just like long life. I think that's something that I wish for everyone in my family. Yeah, just you'd always want someone to just like see themselves reach the ultimate level that they would wish to reach, you know.
Muzi, being a black operator within the ICT sector, I mean, how easy or difficult has it been for you in that space?
Very difficult. And the reason I say very difficult is because it's monopolized by very larger corporates.
Sure.
It's very difficult as a startup to really infiltrate that market. Because one, technology and security are very pivotal to an organization's success. And companies are very reluctant into taking a risk with companies that are not known in the market. So it has become extremely difficult to break those barriers and break those walls to actually get them to take that trust and put it on you and say, okay, we'll leave you with our systems and trust that it's in capable hands. So definitely, I guess, having all these big players like your Bice Technologies, your Ages and your Gijimas makes it very difficult to break in. But you know, we try to start off with the small medium enterprises that are willing, that probably don't have the budgets to afford services from Bytes and the likes, and that at least allows us to have a bit of clout and a bit of experience for the other bigger corporates to say, okay, if they could do this, they can certainly do this as well for us. But it's definitely something that still needs to be really worked on. You know, try to find mechanisms of how these bigger companies can really partner with the smaller ones and grow them as well, so that if, for example, they have an organization that they're supporting, that you're able to say that a section of that IT, be it, let's say, service desk, which is tier 1, let's give it to this small company for that small company to run. Or if it's the desktop support, which is tier 2, let's give it to that company. Or do you have a specialist that we can use? And then you deploy your specialist to work with them. In that sense, and there's a huge skills transfer, and then that allows the small organizations to grow as well and be able to compete for the bigger business.
And I mean, besides having to constantly improve yourself as you operate also in that whole trust factor, I mean, what are some of the other barriers to entry you face as a black player in the ICT sector?
It's still a very white dominated industry, and there's a huge skills shortage within a lot of black graduates, as well as black businesses, ICT businesses, and that has made it quite very difficult, because you're trying to you don't have the budgets to go out and source, call it, the most experienced personnel. So you still need to take the graduates, groom the graduates, get them to the point that they're able to deploy, they're able to complete projects that are given, and that makes it extremely difficult because you don't have the liberty. You're quite small, so you don't really have that huge liberty to be able to build an organization based on just graduates only. You need that skill set, but because of budget constraints, it makes it extremely difficult to source the best, and the best would rather go for the bigger corporates anyway. So
what about funding? Has that ever been an issue for you upon starting up your business, investing, needing bigger investments? And you giggle.
I'm a firm believer in I mean, we've seen a lot of businesses go down simply because of, utilizing certain funding structures, funding mechanisms. So starting up, I really tried to say the biggest fund that you could ever need is your skill. If you've got the skill set, it makes it easy to really penetrate with like the limited amounts that you could have. I mean, we started off the organization with, I'll say 3,500. That was my first contract. It was about 3,500, and from there we've able to take that 3,500 and multiply it so many times to get it to a multi-million company. So as difficult as it is, I'd always say rather it was okay to start off with that. Yes. It makes it challenging, obviously, in a sense of sourcing the best talent. That's where it becomes very difficult and challenging, not having that financial backbone or that financial funding coming in. But it's been part of it. It's been part of the growth. It's been part of the challenges that we've been facing.
And I mean, it goes beyond just employing people, because you've managed to grow, develop, and see them develop for the long term, right? Yes. Upon looking back throughout your 10-year lifespan as an entrepreneur, I mean, what would you say have been 3 of the most valuable lessons you've learned along the way that you'd like to impart to those watching?
I'd definitely say with every failure there comes success. And that we need to treat every failure as a valuable lesson, because through that lesson, something great comes out of it. Yes. I'd say the second one would be that there isn't anything like instant gratification or instant success. There isn't overnight success. There's a lot of work that one is to put in order to get to where you really want to go. Mm-hmm. And that your journey is really limited to where you see it. If you see yourself as being a specialist in a certain field or running a multi-billion corporate, it's really there. The world is really your oyster. It's for you to really chase for it and then get there. So I'd really say that 2 key ones: take every failure as a lesson. Secondly, just know that there is an overnight success. There's a lot of work that's put in. The Instagram life has made it seem like it's overnight, and it isn't, because we really just see the end result of the work that a lot of people have put in. But just to say that put in the work and the results will show.
Yeah, and also the perceptions they want you to see, not the reality of it.
Correct. It's really that. I mean, we've seen it. People have made jokes out of it. But when you look at the behind the scene story of all the people that have put up on Instagram, you really realize the challenges that they faced to get where they are right now.
You have seen tremendous growth, as an entrepreneur for the past 10 years. I wonder, what is your short-term and long-term legacy that you'd like to impart, not only for NTC but for yourself?
Short-term, definitely seeing more graduates within the IT space coming in. We've really become a grooming ground. We're starting to enjoy that a lot, giving them the opportunity within all 3 IT tiers,
yes,
and seeing them after 3-4 years leaving as a specialist, and knowing that we played a pivotal role in that, and opening the door then for the next generation to come up, and then them doing the same thing, and then that's the short-term part of it. And definitely the long-term is seeing that NTC would still be around 20, 30, 50, 80 years from now, and that it will always be a pivotal player within the space, especially now where we're in mobilization. And I think the MOBI space has become very important. The digital mobilization has become extremely important. So we'd like to see ourselves playing in that artificial intelligence space,
yes,
just ascertaining that we open that door, we kick those doors down, and we just leave that door open for the next one.
How do you think your USP comes into play? Because as you mentioned, the world is transitioning and everyone has to ultimately end up in the digitization space. What do you bring to the table?
We bring something uniquely South African, something uniquely African. I think that's the one thing that we're going to bring, because the world is always looking for something that is different.
Yes.
The world is looking for, what does Africa have that is not available abroad? And I think that we have a rich culture that we need to start tapping into and take that culture and digitize it, so that it is available to the world to see. And by doing that, I think, and grooming these young young graduates, we're going to start seeing them really creating things that we've not seen being created within our continent, which are usually created abroad, and those are things that we can start exporting across the world as well at large.
We are our own magic, right?
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much for taking time to chat to us about your story and your journey, and we wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Muzi.
Thank you. We really appreciate the opportunity as well.
An essential part of creativity is not being afraid to fail, and Muzi's courageous business proves just that. That is all we have for you this week. From myself, Liesl Wilson, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye for now.